Hi Queens, Sam here. I hope that you're doing good. I want to talk to you today about investment process. And the reason why I want to talk to you about it is essentially, as I've mentioned in my past video here, women actually represent less than 30% of investors when we look at the stats compared to men. And I'm pretty sure when we look at the percentage of black women in that 30%, it'll probably be lower. So women, we need to get in the game. Black women, we need to get in the game. We need to catch up and really get into the investing part. And when I talk about investment, for me, mainly, I'll say, it's essentially making decision on, which instruments to buy. And, mainly when it comes to stocks and, different equities in the market. Of course, investment could be also you starting a business, investing in real estate, so many things that you can do as investment. But when I talk about investment in this particular video, I'm really referring to essentially investing in the stock market. And I want to share with you a few things that I usually do when I want to make a decision of when it comes to my own investment process, and then you can maybe leverage that for your own investment process. Again, make sure to do your own due diligence and do research a lot before making a decision, because it's important. It's your hard-earned money, and usually when you invest for the long term. So ideally, you don't want to have to buy something today and then sell it the following week and then buy it again 2 weeks from now. So again, that's really when we're talking about investing. You can be like a trader, and essentially for trading, like a day trading, that's a bit different. Or like if you actually trading options, stock options, that's also different, because usually those are more short-term goal. But when I talk about investing or investment here, I'm looking at it in the medium to long term. So essentially you will buying an instrument and keeping it for the medium to long term. So usually the first step that I will actually take is determining my level of risk. And I'll say for me right now, it might not be what takes most of my time, because I have a good idea of my level of risk. And it's important to know your level of risk, because that will determine which instrument you're comfortable owning and some that maybe you want to stay away from, because that doesn't work with your own level of comfort. So it's always good to make sure that anything that you put your money in, you're comfortable putting your money in, and that's not gonna prevent you from sleeping at night. So it's important to determine your level of risk. And that's where honestly you don't want to take any advice or like from people, because two different people will have two different level of risk, because they have two different financial position. And so definitely you can listen to people, but again, make sure that you do your own due diligence to determine what you're comfortable with and stick to that, because when the market is up and down, you do not want to be having any regret or any guilt or any shame as far as what you have actually decided to invest your money in. And then the second thing when it comes to your investment process is really determining your investment strategy. So essentially clarifying your goals when it comes to investments, and really answering those questions in terms of, why are you investing? What are you buying? How are you going to be buying them? What are the frequency of you buying them? If and when you need to sell them, what needs to happen for you to decide to sell? Because that's also something that maybe you want to think of. Maybe you actually buying some stocks, but for you, if these stocks for some reason is supposed to decrease by 50%, and then for you that's just too much to handle, that's something that definitely want to put in investment strategy before it happens. So then when it happens, you're just more comfortable going back and be like, yeah, that's what I've decided for this particular stock, that if such and such was to happen, I will be taking this particular position, and you feel comfortable essentially carrying out that action. So it's always good to already plan that ahead, instead of having to plan it when essentially things are a little bit uncertain. Now you do not have to choose to kind of like decide right away when to sell, because again, investing for medium to long term, for you that could be essentially going to be riding the wave with this particular stock, because I do believe in the company. Also, I also understand that they're going to be subject to the forces of the market. So sometimes they'll be doing really, really good, sometimes really, really bad. But at the end of the day, it is a great investment to own. So you need to find a way to definitely have your investment strategy in place and making sure that you also stick to it. The third thing for me is really setting up systems, and the systems when it comes to investment are really key. One thing that you do not want to do is you having to do anything manually or like too much. And the reason why is because you might forget, you might not have the time, or you might decide against it just because you go back to it. So once you know essentially that maybe you want to be buying a certain number of ETF or of a stock every 2 weeks, then you set up that system essentially for that withdrawal to happen every 2 weeks. So without even you doing anything manually, that will happen. Money will be taken automatically from your account and then transfer maybe in your brokerage account to buy that particular stock. And it's good because it becomes an automatic system that you do not have to do anything with that. It helps you just to get into that habit of putting money right away in your investments and increasing them as the time goes. So the same way that you would have set up a system to pay down debt, same thing, you'll be also setting up a system to actually invest on regular basis in your investments. And don't hesitate, maybe when your income increases, to definitely making sure that you allocate also a certain part of your income increase to your investment, because that will also help you get closer to your financial freedom. And so systems are really key when it comes to making sure that you actually have everything in place to realize your investment strategy. The next tip that I want to share with you is that when it comes to investment, one of the greatest thing you can do is actually play dead and really do nothing. And I know I've mentioned that in a few of my videos here, how when it comes to your finances, sometimes it's better to do nothing. But I'm gonna quote Warren Buffett here, where he has a famous quote, and he says essentially the stock market is a device for transferring wealth from people who are impatient to the people who are actually patient. So when you read that, and it's coming from someone who has made billions in the stock market, you understand how sometimes not doing anything and really being patient can bring you more than having to change things and tweak things here and there. So it's important to also master that, I guess, like that ability to just decide at times when maybe the entire world is getting to the frenzy of doing something with their investment portfolio, for you to say, I'm actually not doing anything, I'm not touching anything. I've gone for months sometimes without even looking my investment portfolio because I've decided so. It's just because also I want to reduce maybe the likelihood to actually make any changes. So I just decide not to log into the portfolio itself. I may look at the balance, but not like to look at each stock in there or like each ETF in there and see how they're faring, because I may decide to sell some and then realize a loss, and then 6 months after regret it. So playing dead when it comes to your finances is something that maybe can really benefit you. And the last tip that I want to share is, don't even if you can go for months without even looking at your investment portfolio, you still gonna review your investment strategy at time. You wanna just making sure that you still have the right investment in there for you, because life changes. You could go from being a single person with no dependent to within 10 years being married with 2 or 3 kids. So maybe your level of risk has changed, and definitely the investment that you will want to have at that time will probably be different than investment that you had 10 years ago. So just make sure to, I'll say at least once a year or even twice a year, just review your investment strategy, just making sure that it is still aligned with things that matter to you and where you're at in your life, because you don't want to be get caught up in some sort of situation where maybe you put your money in some assets that are pretty risky, but you are at a point in your life where you really don't want to take that much risk, just to give you an example. So there you have it. Those are really a few things that personally I keep in mind when it comes to my investment process, and that you can also leverage for yourself if that actually suits you. And if you have any other tips, any other ways that you actually do your investments, I will be interested to know about it. Again, this channel is, of course, it's me mainly making the videos, but I do read all the comments, and I do also reply to the comment, and I'm amazed when you actually take the time to share maybe some other ways to do anything that I'm actually sharing in the video itself. So that's about it for today. Don't forget again to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you're the first one to know next time I'm posting a video. So until next time, I wish you a good day and also keep building wealth. Bye bye.